obviously everybody knows Emily. They do quite a bit of Medicare, but they do a lot of ACA as well. And we work with Emily on ACA, as I think a couple of people on here probably do as well. This ACA market, we know it's growing because of a couple of things: the Medicaid cliff, the
150 SEP,
the 150
year-round SEP,
federal poverty level SEP. There's all these other reasons, but really, it's not like all these future things that people are talking about happening. The ACA market's hot now. It was last year. It was the year before. Is it real? I think it's really just awareness at this point.
It is. I think that in any business and any line of insurance, I mean, insurance has been around for a very long time, but there's ebbs and flows, and a lot of salespeople are incentivized by commissions or, and they kind of miss out on what the opportunity was. And we talked a little bit about that at Medicare Con, because it's really important. And just like y'all were just talking about, like, I want to hear what everyone's doing in the market. In fact, I just called Victoria this morning to talk to her about how automation and chats and bots and all of that, like, the compliance side of everything. And it's really important to do your research and pay attention to the opportunity, but don't just drive it only to commissions and how much you get paid, because it's one of the easiest things to market right now. I don't know that it's always going to be like that. I think that there's enough people coming in the market that are kind of doing some, unfavorable things. And I think that there's going to start being some more regulations. So it's better to get in now when it's easy to write. You can brand yourself as the health expert or health insurance expert in your market. And then you can capitalize on the spouse in the house. You can increase your sales for like your hospital indemnity, your life insurance, annuities, like all kinds of things. Because a lot of people we're seeing is not just young families, they're people over the age of 55. But then you also need to stay in touch with what's going on legislatively. We have the family glitch that is going to possibly create a huge opportunity in 2023. And so you need to be prepared and already have your ads and already have like your marketing ready to go this summer, so that if it turns on, that you can turn that stuff on in October if those things were to pass.
Yeah, and that could be a upper middle income match. So if you write some annuities, that could also be, from an annuity perspective, higher end life insurance too, a good segue into the ACA market and finding where the ACA market meets your higher income people. A lot of people think of it as low income, but start thinking of it like Medicare. ACA is getting so big that its income spectrum is all over the place. It's like DSNP to Medicare Advantage to a high income person because they live in Miami-Dade County, right? There's so many people. It's not like Medicare Advantage is for poor people. It's for everybody. No, depends on their circumstance. Right. ACA is getting that way now, where it'll be, it already is, especially when you get into the self-employed market. But so just gives you something to think about. This is not like a pigeonhole for poor people to get into. It's or for poor customers. We see a huge opportunity for us, and where most of our ACAs come from is not even our marketing, which makes me feel stupid because I think we should be marketing it. Yeah. But most of ours comes from cross-selling the spouse in the house, which is trademarked by Galen. So we'll give credit to Galen. She's got that one locked down. But the spouse in the house is the person that's 62, their husband's aging into Medicare. What is she going to do because she's coming off his group plan now? For the next 3 years. And ACA, short-term medical, is kind of the conversation, really. That's like their only options. And ACA looks better for most of them. It's good to learn both, because there's going to be some people where short-term medical makes sense, especially when it's a real short period of time, 6 months, and they're high income. They can get it cheaper. She's real healthy. There's some opportunity there too. But mostly it's ACA. I'd say 98% of those scenarios we hit, ACA ends up being the way to go for. And also their income sometimes will come down in that period because they're going off a retirement income, and the subsidies are disproportionately allocated to the older people, right? So if the subsidy is allocated to a 60-year-old person or 62-year-old, right, it's disproportionately allocated to that person. So then their income dips because the husband's retiring, income comes down. So they end up getting a lot of times. And so what I'm saying is this is like a middle class family. These are people with 401ks, they've retired, but their income dips down to 45,000 now. And because they're retired, that's their retirement taxable income. And, anyway, you're finding that they're getting pretty heavy ACA subsidies. So again, not poor people, strong middle class people that we're seeing on ACA, which means great cross-sell potential in those. And don't get me wrong, there's some ACA side that is a whole different ball game where they are on the poor end of the spectrum, and it's a little harder to cross-sell, just like your DSNP side or your lower income Medicare Advantage side. It's a big spectrum to be part of. So,
the good thing though is most of their premiums paid for, so you don't got to worry about them falling off the books.
that's true. Yeah, if you get the really poor ones and it's zero premium, they don't, and it's still not targeted as much as Medicare Advantage by call centers, so you're not losing a lot of this. I don't know. I wonder how long it's going to be before we see a celebrity on a ACA TV commercial.
I don't know, but I will say though, if you're a new agent or, you're trying to get into the six figures, ACA is something that you can use to boost your marketing throughout the year for your Medicare. That's how a lot of our agents started. Was they got into ACA, they sold the junk out of that, made a good 50, 60, maybe even over 100,000, and then use that to fund their marketing for Medicare. And that's their Medicare is their long-term play. So that's the other pro about it as well.
Yeah. And if I target ACA from 50 to 64, all those people are in my Medicare pipeline. And I've said that before. So, well, thank you, Emily.
Time to train like a guru. Go Guru University is an ever-expanding, cutting-edge, interactive training platform with live weekly coaching calls constructed to train agents efficiently and compliantly. Go Guru University offers a library of training modules explaining Medicare A to Z, face-to-face and telesales training, SEO and other marketing, and much more. Visit goguru.university to schedule your one-on-one demo today.